Are you thinking about buying a new construction home, but you're not quite sure what the whole process looks like? Well, in this week's video, I'm going to share with you everything that you need to know about buying a new construction home, and we're getting started right now. Boom! Hey everybody, it is David, your favorite realtor, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I am a licensed realtor in Northern Virginia for the past 8 years, and I've helped a ton of clients buy new construction homes over the years. And not to mention, I just personally closed on my own new construction home a few months back earlier this year, so I can give you some great insight of kind of what you can expect throughout the whole process. And speaking from personal experience, it is a very exciting process when you're buying a new construction home, especially compared to buying just a resale property. So let's dive in right now on what you can expect in the whole process of buying a new construction home. So the first part of the process is the looking stage. So in this stage, ideally you'll have an appointment already set up with the builder sales rep. Go there with your realtor, you're gonna look at the community, you're gonna look at their model home. And just so you know about the model home, they're gonna look a lot different compared to what maybe your final home will look like, because the model home has beautiful furniture. They have basically every single option that they even offer. And the main purpose of the model is to create a wow factor, which causes you to fall in love with the house. And while you're looking at the community and looking at the model home, this is where you can tell, hey, this is actually a potential home for us, or this is definitely not for me. Let's go on to the next community. And me personally, when the wife and I went to check out the model last year, we actually had no intention of buying what we bought. And we actually just wanted to go check it out, especially as my job as a realtor, really know all the new construction communities in my area. So we just went to check it out, but we fell in love. It just checked every single box that we were looking for. And that's when we looked at each other and said, hey, this could be a great fit for us. Now, the next part of the process is, assuming you like the community, you like the available lot that they have, well, guess what? You're gonna go over pricing. You can sit down with the sales rep. Now, this is probably one of the most complex parts of the whole process, because the price you see on like Zillow.com, that's not the final price, not even close. So for example, you may see a community. In fact, I'll talk about a community in my area. They have it advertised at starting at $899. Well, guess what? It's impossible to buy a home for $899 in this community. In fact, even when you reach out to the sales reps, they say expect to spend anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 above advertised price. So that is a huge difference. So definitely keep that in mind. And I use myself as an example. Our base price when we went on a contract last year was $580,000. And after like lot fee, structural options, design studio options, we ended up spending $85,000 over the base price. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule. Some new construction communities will have homes that are already built. Obviously, if the house is already built, you can't pick any options. So maybe the advertised price that you see there is actually the final sales price. So during the pricing process, you're sitting with the sales rep. The sales rep's going over all the options, all the lots available. What are the lot fees? What are the structural options? Like, do you want to add a finished basement? Do you want to add an extra bathroom? Do you want to add a rooftop terrace? Things like that. And these options add up very quickly. Now, just so you know, 95% of the time, the price is the price with the builders. There's really no negotiating, because if you don't buy it, there's a line out the door waiting to buy that home. However, a lot of builders, they offer incentives. Like if you use their go-to lender, they may offer like $10,000 or $15,000 towards your closing cost. Or I've seen incentives, or if you go under contract by a certain date, they'll give you like 10 grand or $20,000 towards structural options. Like the incentive I was offered was, if I used their go-to lender, we ended up getting a $10,000 credit towards closing costs, which is awesome. But a pro tip, we actually did not use their lender, because my go-to lender got me a much better rate. And over the long haul, I'll save way more than $10,000. Now, the next step of the process is your decision to move forward. So you've seen the model, you love it, you've gone over pricing, you kind of have an idea how much it's gonna cost you. And then really the next part is it for you or not? Do you wanna move forward or keep on looking? So the good thing is you don't have to decide like right there on the spot. Some builders, they may hold that lot for you for like 24 hours, something like that. Use myself as an example. They held the lot for us for 24 hours. So the wife and I were able to like go out, grab dinner, really think about it. Is this what we want to do? And then I think the next day we decided, yes, this is for us. And that's when we reached out to the sales rep to say, hey, we're ready to move forward. Now, every builder is going to be different. I've seen some builders where they'll hold the lot for you if you leave like $1,000 deposit, which is refundable, by the way. I've seen builders where you don't have to do anything. They'll just hold it for 24 hours. So obviously ask the questions like, what's the process of holding that lot for you? So that way you don't have to make a decision right there on the spot if you want to buy this home or not. So now you've decided you want to move forward on this property. Now every builder, they're going to make you get pre-approved with their go-to lender. Even if you already have a pre-approval letter, they just want to make sure you're a super qualified buyer. Now you don't have to use their go-to lender. You can definitely use your own lender, but there are a lot of incentives to using their lender. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of times they'll offer $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 towards your closing costs. It will be case-by-case basis. But just so you know, do not be shocked when the builder makes you get pre-approved with their go-to lender. So now you're being approved with their go-to lender. You've kind of go over pricing, talked about lot fees, structural options. Now it is the contract time. This can be done via Zoom or it can be done in person. So basically the sales rep, they're gonna get the contract ready and then they're gonna go over the contract with you and then you're gonna sign everything. And also at the time of contract signing, you have to leave your deposit with the builders. It's usually anywhere from 5 to 10% of the base price. So for example, if you're buying $1 million house, that may be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 deposit to the builders. Now, big disclaimer when it comes to contracts. They're a lot different than your resale standard contracts. The builder contracts are 100% one-sided towards the builders. You have no escapes basically. So you have no appraisal contingency. So if appraisal comes in low, you're stuck buying it. No financing contingencies. So keep that in mind. Once they have that deposit, you basically have no way to get your money back. So if you're supposed to close a week from now, you don't want to buy that house anymore, you will lose your deposit pretty much 95% of the time. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, one of the most important things with these builder contracts, you want to make sure they do not have a clause where they can increase the price while you're under contract. So make sure, have your realtor go through that contract and make sure they don't have any clause where they can change the price, because that's the worst. When you're expecting to close on a house for $700,000, but then they end up raising the price to $725,000. Definitely don't want that. So now you reviewed the contract, everything looks good. You sent your deposit to the builders, you signed the contract. The next step is the builders have to sign the contract. Usually it takes 24 to 48 hours. And then once it's signed, you have a ratified contract and you're gonna be buying a new home soon. How soon? That's a great question. The home's already built, probably about 45 days from contract to close. If the home's going from the ground up, it can take as long as a year. For me personally, it took 7 months from contract to the time we closed. Now the next part of the process, and this was hands down my favorite part, and that's the design studio. Now before I dive into the design studio, obviously if you pick a house that's already been built, there's no design studio process. Or if the builder actually picks all the options already, then you won't go to the design studio. But if it's a new community where you get to pick all your options, then you go to the design studio and it's a lot of fun. Basically, it's like a 3-hour meeting. You go to the design studio, you get to pick your countertops, your flooring, your carpet, your backsplash. Do you want a washer or dryer? You get to pick your appliance packages. It is like literally building your own home from scratch. But I'll give you a pro tip in the design studio. Have a budget before you go in, because some of these items you can get done after the fact for a lot less expensive. So I'll give you some things that I kind of chose to do myself instead of having the builders do, and it definitely helped me save some money. One was a washer dryer. They want to charge like, I think $3,500 for a washer dryer. I did it myself after the fact for only $1,900. So that saved me $1,600 right there. Also the backsplash, they wanted to charge $2,500, but I did it myself after the fact. I think it was like $1,000, and not to mention it was a much prettier backsplash. So little things like that can really help you save money if you do it after the fact instead of having the builders do it. So after the design studio process, this is when you have your final sales figure. I'll use myself as an example. Before we went to the design studio, our price at that time was like $625,000. We ended up spending about $40,000 at the design studio. So our final sales price came out to about $665,000. Now, after the design studio, not much happens for the next 2, 3, 4 months until you get an email saying, hey, we're gonna do the pre-drywall walkthrough. Now the pre-drywall walkthrough is a very exciting time. It's actually the first time you actually get to walk inside your home. Also, you're there to make sure all the electrical options that you picked are there, like your recessed lightings, did you add any extra outlets, things like that. So I remember when the wife and I did our pre-drywall walkthrough, we were so excited. Of course, it was the coldest, rainiest day of the winter. In our home, we actually paid extra for the rooftop terrace. So we could barely go out there because it was literally raining cats and dogs. Like, it was like freezing out there, but I was like, I don't care. But I got to see my future rooftop. But like I said, it's a great part of the process because you get to really see your new home come to life. So about 30 to 45 days before closing, you're gonna get an email from the builder with your closing letter. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for. So on this closing letter, it'll have scheduled your new home orientation. That takes place about 1 week before closing. And during this new home orientation, you're gonna walk through the property with the builder. You have your blue tape and any items that need to be fixed, you put your blue tape on there. Is the paint scuffed? Is the toilet shaky? Something like that, you put your blue tape on and those items will be fixed before closing. Also, this gives you a window to have your professional home inspection, which I highly recommend. You know, get your inspector in there because even though the house is brand new, there still can be issues. There's no such thing as a perfect house. 0, 0, 0, 0. And not to mention any items that your home inspector finds, the builders, they usually fix it as well. Also on this closing letter, has your closing day scheduled as well. It's usually a week after your new home orientation. So let's skip the closing day, which is it. You're super excited. It is time to get your brand new house. So before closing, you're gonna go one last walkthrough with the builders at the property. You're gonna make sure all the blue tape items were fixed. You're also gonna make sure any items that was found in the home inspection report were fixed. It's super quick, maybe half an hour to an hour. Everything looks good. Then you're gonna go to the builder's title company. You're gonna sign a bunch of documents, bring your funds needed for closing, and guess what? Then you get your keys and you finally own your brand new home. I remember on my closing day, the wife and I took the day off. We had a bunch of boxes in our cars already lined up. Once we got the keys, we went straight to the property and started getting everything ready because we were so excited about our brand new home. Now the next step is you have the post-closing. So most builders usually offer like a 30 to 60 day kind of like one-time repair because there may be some items you didn't notice during the professional home inspection or the blue tape because these things you're not gonna notice until you're living in the house. So for the next 30 to 60 days, you're gonna write down items that you notice are like not working properly or just broken in general. And then you're gonna share that list with the builders. They're gonna come back and fix all that stuff. Me personally, I only had a few little items that were kind of messed up, but they came in, fixed it. Ours was a 60 day. So they came in, fixed all those items, but I am super happy overall. So if you've been thinking about buying a new construction home anywhere in the country and you will love a referral for a rock star local realtor who'll help you every step of the way, leave me an email down below and I'll make sure you're well taken care of. And if you want to learn more about buying a new construction home, check out these videos right here. They're gonna be great resources and I'll see you on the next video.